I stood on the porch of our house, clutching the envelope that had shattered my life into pieces. Inside were photographs that confirmed my worst fears. My wife Lauren had been unfaithful to me for the past 3 years. The evidence was irrefutable, and the weight of betrayal settled heavily on my shoulders. As I opened the front door, I could hear Lauren talking on the phone. Her voice was nervous, almost frantic, as she glanced around, not noticing my arrival. I listened from the hallway, my heart pounding in my chest. The words she spoke were innocuous enough, but the underlying tension was palpable. This was the same tension I had felt between us for years, the same tension that had driven me to hire a private investigator in the first place. 3 years ago, our marriage had seemed perfect. We had 2 beautiful children, a comfortable home, and what I thought was an unbreakable bond. But slowly things began to change. Lauren started working late more often, taking frequent business trips, and our once warm and loving relationship grew cold and distant. I tried to dismiss my suspicions, convincing myself that I was being paranoid. But the nagging doubt never went away. It was this doubt that led me to hire a detective, a decision I had hoped would put my mind at ease. Instead, it brought my world crashing down. The detective had provided me with a comprehensive report, complete with photographs and messages exchanged between Lauren and her lover. To my utter devastation, her lover was none other than my best friend Michael. The man I had trusted with my secrets, the godfather to my children, was the one who had been betraying me all along. As if that wasn't enough, the investigators' findings led me to another horrifying truth. I decided to have DNA tests done for our children. The results were conclusive. I was not their biological father. My heart ached as I thought of the little faces I had loved and cherished, the memories of their first steps, their first words. Everything felt like a lie. I knew I couldn't confront Lauren or Michael immediately. I needed a plan, a way to make them pay for their betrayal. I started to prepare, keeping my discoveries to myself and continuing our life as if nothing had changed. Every smile and every act of affection towards Lauren became a bitter reminder of the deceit I was enduring. In the meantime, I sought legal advice, ensuring that when the time came, I would be ready to protect myself and take everything from her. I moved our joint savings into a personal account, began the process of removing her from our family business, and laid the groundwork for a devastating legal battle. One evening, I orchestrated a dinner at our home, inviting Michael under the guise of a friendly get-together. Lauren seemed on edge, her guilt practically oozing from her every pore. As we sat down to eat, I felt a strange calm wash over me. This was the moment I had been waiting for. "I have something to share," I began, pulling out the envelope and placing it on the table. Lauren's eyes widened and Michael looked confused. "Inside this envelope are the results of my private investigation. Photos, messages, DNA tests, everything you two thought you could keep hidden." The color drained from Lauren's face as she reached for the envelope with trembling hands. Michael remained silent, his eyes darting between me and Lauren. The silence was deafening as they absorbed the reality of the situation. "I'm filing for divorce," I stated firmly, "and I intend to take full custody of the children and all our assets. You will get nothing." Lauren and Michael sat in stunned silence, unable to muster a defense. I had all the evidence I needed, and I wasn't afraid to use it. My revenge had only just begun, and I was prepared to see it through to the end. As I watched them squirm, a sense of grim satisfaction settled over me. The life I had known was over, but a new one was just beginning. I would rebuild, start fresh, and leave Lauren and her treachery behind. This was only the first step in reclaiming my life. In the days following the dinner, the atmosphere in the house was suffocating. Lauren tried to act as if everything was normal, but I could see the fear and guilt in her eyes. Every interaction between us was laced with tension, an unspoken acknowledgement of the impending storm. I played my part perfectly, pretending to be oblivious, all the while planning my next move. I decided to delve deeper into the details of Lauren's infidelity. I needed to understand the extent of her betrayal, to fuel my resolve and ensure I had all the ammunition necessary for the legal battle ahead. The private investigator had done an excellent job, but I wanted more. I accessed Lauren's emails and text messages, uncovering a trove of deceit that stretched back years. The messages between Lauren and Michael were explicit, detailing their secret meetings and intimate encounters. They spoke of love and plans for the future, all the while mocking me behind my back. Each word was a dagger to my heart, but I pushed through the pain, knowing that this was essential for my plan. I also discovered emails between Lauren and several of her colleagues. It appeared that Michael wasn't her only lover. The realization that my wife had been living a double life, engaging in multiple affairs, made my blood boil. It wasn't just a betrayal by my best friend. It was a complete and utter violation of our marriage. One evening, as Lauren was putting the kids to bed, I sat down at the dining table with my laptop and a bottle of whiskey. I compiled all the evidence into a neatly organized folder, labeling each section meticulously. I knew that when the time came, I would need to present a clear and compelling case in court. As I worked, my anger simmered just beneath the surface, a constant reminder of the betrayal I had suffered. My next step was to confront Michael directly. I couldn't let him walk away unscathed. I arranged to meet him at a local bar, under the pretense of needing to talk about something important. He arrived looking slightly apprehensive but still maintaining his usual smug demeanor. "Thanks for meeting me," I said, forcing a smile as we sat down. "I need to talk to you about something serious." Michael raised an eyebrow, taking a sip of his beer. "What's going on, man?" I took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the moment. "I know about you and Lauren," I said, my voice steady. "I know about everything." Michael's face went pale and he glanced around nervously. "What are you talking about?" "Don't play dumb," I snapped, pulling out my phone and showing him the photos and messages. "I have all the evidence. You're not just my wife's lover. You're a liar and a cheat, and you will pay for this." He stammered, trying to come up with an excuse, but I cut him off. "Save it. I don't want to hear your pathetic justifications. You've betrayed our friendship, and you've betrayed my family. There will be consequences." I stood up, leaving him speechless and terrified. The satisfaction of seeing him squirm was immense, but it was only the beginning. I walked out of the bar, feeling a sense of grim determination. I had confronted one of the key players in this twisted drama, and now it was time to take the next steps. Back at home, I continued to gather evidence and prepare for the legal battle. I met with my lawyer, outlining the details of the case and ensuring that every angle was covered. The plan was coming together, and I was more determined than ever to see it through. Lauren's behavior became increasingly erratic as the days went by. She knew something was wrong, but couldn't put her finger on it. I reveled in her discomfort, knowing that the day of reckoning was approaching. The more she squirmed, the more resolute I became. In the meantime, I focused on the children. Despite the shocking revelation about their paternity, I loved them deeply and wanted to protect them from the fallout. I spent as much time with them as possible, creating happy memories and reinforcing my bond with them. They were innocent in all of this, and I was determined to shield them from the chaos that was about to unfold. The stage was set, and the players were in position. I confronted Michael, gathered irrefutable evidence, and prepared my legal strategy. Now, it was only a matter of time before the final act of this tragic play began. As I looked at my sleeping children, I promised myself that I would emerge from this stronger, leaving the past behind and forging a new path forward. The day of reckoning had finally arrived. I had meticulously prepared for this moment, and now it was time to put my plan into action. As I stood outside the courthouse, a sense of grim determination settled over me. I knew this was going to be a battle, but I was ready for whatever came my way. Lauren and I walked into the courtroom separately, the tension between us palpable. She looked anxious, her eyes darting around the room as if searching for an escape. I took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the evidence I carried in my briefcase. This was it. Our lawyers exchanged pleasantries, but the atmosphere was anything but friendly. We took our seats, and the judge called the session to order. My lawyer, a sharp and experienced attorney named Richard, stood up and began presenting our case. "Your Honor, we are here today to address the issue of infidelity within this marriage," Richard began. "We have substantial evidence that Mrs. Lauren Thompson has been unfaithful to Mr. John Thompson for the past 3 years. Additionally, we have evidence of multiple affairs and the paternity of the children being in question." Lauren's lawyer tried to interrupt, but the judge motioned for Richard to continue. He proceeded to lay out the evidence we had gathered, the photographs, the messages, the DNA test results. Each piece of evidence was a nail in the coffin of Lauren's defense. Lauren's face turned pale as the evidence mounted. She glanced at me, her eyes pleading for mercy, but I remained stone-faced. This was not the time for sympathy. This was about justice. When it was Lauren's lawyer's turn to speak, he tried to argue that the evidence was obtained illegally and that it was an invasion of privacy. But the judge was having none of it. The evidence was solid, and the truth was undeniable. After hours of testimony and cross-examination, the judge called for a recess. I stepped outside, feeling the cool air on my face. Richard joined me, his expression one of cautious optimism. "We're doing well," he said. "The judge seems to be leaning in our favor. Just stay calm, and we'll get through this." I nodded, appreciating his confidence. As we stood there, I saw Michael approaching. He looked defeated, a shadow of the man he once was. He had been subpoenaed to testify, and his presence only added to the gravity of the situation. "John," he said quietly, avoiding my gaze. "I'm sorry." "Save it," I replied coldly. "You're here to tell the truth. That's all that matters now." We returned to the courtroom, and Michael took the stand. His testimony was a mix of guilt and regret, but it was clear and damning. He confirmed the affair, detailing their secret meetings and the deceitful web they had spun. Lauren sat there, tears streaming down her face, but I couldn't afford to let my emotions sway me. This was about securing my future and protecting my children. I had to stay focused. The judge considered everything, and after a brief deliberation, he delivered his verdict. He granted me full custody of the children and awarded me the majority of our assets. Lauren was left with almost nothing, her betrayal costing her dearly. As we left the courtroom, Lauren approached me, her eyes red and swollen. "John, please," she whispered. "I'm so sorry. Can't we find a way to work this out?" I looked at her, the woman I had once loved, and felt nothing but a hollow emptiness. "It's too late for apologies, Lauren. You made your choices, and now you have to live with the consequences." With that, I walked away, feeling a strange mix of relief and sorrow. The battle was over, but the war within me was just beginning. I had won the legal fight, but the emotional scars would take much longer to heal. As I drove home, I thought about my children and the new life we would build together. It wouldn't be easy, but I was determined to give them the stability and love they deserved. Lauren's betrayal had shattered our family, but it had also given me the strength to start anew. The future was uncertain, but I was ready to face it head-on. This was the beginning of a new chapter, one where I would rise from the ashes of betrayal and create a life free from deceit. It was time to move forward and leave the past behind. With the legal battle behind me, my next focus was securing financial stability for myself and the children. I had already taken preliminary steps to protect our assets, but now it was time to solidify those measures and ensure that Lauren could not lay claim to anything. The first step was to transfer all remaining joint assets into my accounts. I had anticipated this moment and had already set up new accounts that Lauren had no access to. I meticulously reviewed our financial statements, making sure every penny was accounted for and moved appropriately. This process was tedious but necessary. I couldn't afford any mistakes. Next, I had to deal with the family business. Lauren had been an integral part of it, but I needed to ensure she was completely removed from any decision-making processes and financial benefits. I called a meeting with the board of directors to discuss the situation. They were sympathetic and understood the need for swift action. We voted to remove Lauren from her position and restructured the ownership to reflect my sole control. I also consulted with financial advisors to explore options for liquidating some of our assets. The house, for instance, held too many painful memories, and I wanted a fresh start. We decided to sell it and use the proceeds to buy a new home in a different part of town. This would give the children and me a chance to start over in a new environment, free from the shadows of betrayal. Throughout this process, I remained in close contact with my lawyer. We had to ensure that all transactions were legally sound and that Lauren couldn't contest them later. His expertise was invaluable, guiding me through the legalities and helping me navigate the complexities of asset division. Meanwhile, Lauren was struggling. She had moved into a small apartment, and her attempts to find employment were hindered by the scandal that had surrounded our divorce. Word had spread quickly, and many of our friends and acquaintances had sided with me. Lauren's reputation was in tatters, and she found herself isolated. I couldn't find any joy in her suffering, though. Despite everything, she was still the mother of my children, and I wanted her to be stable for their sake. I made sure she received a fair share of the proceeds from the house sale, enough to help her get back on her feet, but not so much that she could become a financial burden to us in the future. One evening, as I was finalizing the last of the financial transfers, Lauren called. Her voice was strained and full of sorrow. "John, I know I've lost everything, but can we at least try to be civil for the kids' sake?" I paused, the weight of her words sinking in. "Lauren, I'm willing to be civil, but you need to understand that things will never be the same. We need to focus on what's best for the children." She sighed. "I understand. I just want to make sure they don't suffer because of my mistakes." "We'll make sure of that," I replied, trying to keep my voice steady. "But you have to respect the boundaries we've set." The conversation ended on a somber note, but it was a step towards finding a new normal. I knew it would be a long road, but I was determined to rebuild our lives. With the financial aspects finally settled, I felt a sense of relief. The next challenge was emotional healing, both for myself and the children. I arranged counseling sessions for them, wanting to ensure they had the support they needed to process the changes in their lives. For myself, I sought solace in friends and hobbies I had neglected during the tumultuous years of our marriage. I reconnected with old friends, joined a local gym, and started taking weekend trips with the kids to create new, positive memories. One sunny Saturday, we visited a nearby lake. As I watched the children play in the water, their laughter ringing through the air, I felt a glimmer of hope. This was what mattered most, their happiness and well-being. Despite the betrayal and the pain, we were moving forward, step by step. The financial maneuvering had been a crucial part of this journey, but it was only one piece of the puzzle. Now, it was time to focus on healing, rebuilding, and finding joy in the little moments. We had a long way to go, but for the first time in a long time, I felt like we were on the right path. The days passed in a blur as we settled into our new routines. The children seemed to adapt well to the changes, finding joy in their new surroundings and activities. However, the issue of their paternity weighed heavily on my mind. I knew I couldn't keep this secret forever. They deserved to know the truth. One evening, after putting the kids to bed, I sat down in the living room, staring at the DNA test results once again. My heart ached as I thought about how this revelation would impact them. I decided to seek advice from a family therapist, hoping to find the best way to approach this delicate situation. The therapist, Dr. Emily Carter, was understanding and compassionate. She listened patiently as I explained everything that had happened. "John, this is a challenging situation, but it's important to handle it with honesty and sensitivity," she said. "Children are resilient, but they need to feel secure and loved, no matter what." We discussed various strategies for breaking the news, and Dr. Carter suggested having a joint session with the children. "It's crucial to reassure them that your love for them hasn't changed," she advised. "Emphasize that they are still your children, regardless of the DNA results." A week later, we had our first session with Dr. Carter. The kids were a bit apprehensive, sensing that something important was about to be discussed. I took a deep breath and began, my voice steady but gentle. "There's something I need to talk to you both about," I started, looking into their innocent eyes. "You know how much I love you, right? No matter what happens, that will never change." They nodded, their expressions a mix of curiosity and concern. I continued, "I recently found out something that might be a little confusing. The DNA tests we did showed that I'm not your biological father." Their eyes widened, and I could see the confusion turning into fear. "But that doesn't change anything," I quickly added. "I am still your dad, and nothing will ever change that. I love you both more than anything in this world." Dr. Carter stepped in, offering supportive words and helping to answer their questions. It was a difficult conversation, but the children gradually began to understand. They had a lot of questions, and some of them were hard to answer, but I remained patient and honest. Over the next few weeks, we had several more sessions with Dr. Carter. The children needed time to process the news, and I was there for them every step of the way. We talked about their feelings, their fears, and how we would move forward as a family. One afternoon, as we were driving home from one of our sessions, my son, Ethan, spoke up from the back seat. "Dad, does this mean we have to stop loving you?" The question hit me like a ton of bricks, but I kept my voice calm. Not, Ethan. Love isn't about DNA. It's about the bond we share, the memories we've made, and the future we have together. You and your sister mean the world to me, and that will never change. He nodded slowly, seeming to find some comfort in my words. I glanced at my daughter, Lily, who was staring out the window. Lily, are you okay? I asked gently. She turned to me, her eyes filled with uncertainty. I'm scared, Dad. What if things change? I reached back and squeezed her hand. Things might be different, but we'll face it together. As long as we have each other, we can get through anything. As the weeks turned into months, the initial shock began to fade. The children grew more accustomed to the idea, and our bond only seemed to strengthen. They asked about their biological father occasionally, and I answered their questions as best as I could, always emphasizing that it didn't change our relationship. Lauren had tried to reach out a few times, but I kept our interactions brief and focused solely on the children. She was still grappling with the consequences of her actions, and I couldn't let her instability affect our progress. During this period, I also made sure to surround the children with positive influences. We spent more time with family and friends, creating new happy memories. I enrolled them in activities they enjoyed, encouraging them to pursue their passions and interests. One evening, as we sat around the dinner table, Ethan suddenly smiled and said, "You know, Dad, it doesn't matter what the tests say. You're our dad, and that's all that counts." Lily nodded in agreement, and I felt a surge of pride and relief. "That's right," I said, my voice filled with emotion. "We are a family, and nothing will ever change that." At that moment, I realized that we had come through the storm stronger than ever. The truth about their paternity had been a challenging hurdle, but we had faced it together, and our bond had only deepened. The path ahead was still uncertain, but I knew we could handle whatever came our way. As I tucked the kids into bed that night, I whispered a silent promise to myself. No matter what, I would always be there for them, guiding them, loving them, and ensuring that they felt secure and cherished. We were a family, forged through adversity, and our love would carry us forward. With the truth about the children's paternity revealed and the financial matters settled, the next challenge was dealing with the social fallout from Lauren's betrayal. Our once close-knit circle of friends and acquaintances had been shaken by the scandal, and the repercussions were far-reaching. It started with whispered conversations and sideways glances whenever I entered a room. People who had once been friendly and warm now seemed uncomfortable and distant. I knew that gossip about Lauren's infidelity and our messy divorce had spread quickly, leaving us both under a cloud of judgment. I decided to take control of the narrative. Rather than allowing rumors to dictate our story, I began reaching out to friends and family, explaining the situation honestly and directly. I wanted them to hear the truth from me, not from idle gossip. It was a difficult and often painful process, but it was necessary. One of the first people I spoke to was my oldest friend, James. We met at a local coffee shop, and as I recounted the events of the past few months, I could see the shock and sympathy in his eyes. "I had no idea, John," he said, shaking his head. "I'm so sorry you had to go through all of this." "It's been rough," I admitted, "but I'm trying to move forward. The kids are my top priority now." James nodded. "If there's anything you need, just let me know. And don't worry about the gossip. People will eventually move on to something else." His words were comforting, but I knew it would take time for the whispers to fade. In the meantime, I focused on rebuilding our social life, surrounding the children and myself with positive, supportive people. I organized small gatherings with close friends, creating a sense of normalcy and stability. At one of these gatherings, I noticed how the children interacted with our friends. They seemed more at ease, laughing and playing without the shadow of recent events hanging over them. It was a small victory, but it meant the world to me. Despite my efforts, there were still those who couldn't look past the scandal. Some friends distanced themselves, unable to reconcile their image of our family with the reality of what had happened. I accepted their departure with grace, understanding that not everyone could handle the truth. Lauren's social standing took an even harder hit. She became a pariah among our former circle of friends, her actions and the subsequent fallout leaving her isolated. I heard through mutual acquaintances that she struggled to find acceptance and faced judgment wherever she went. It was a harsh reality, but one she had brought upon herself. One afternoon, I received an unexpected call from Lauren, "John, can we talk?" she asked, her voice trembling. I hesitated but agreed to meet her at a park where the kids liked to play. When I arrived, she looked worn and defeated, a shadow of the confident woman I once knew. "What's on your mind, Lauren?" I asked, keeping my tone neutral. "I've been thinking a lot about everything," she began, tears welling up in her eyes. "I know I can't undo the past, but I want to make things right for the kids. I want to be a part of their lives, even if it's just in a small way." I took a deep breath, considering her words. "The kids need stability, Lauren. They need to know they can count on us, even if we're not together." "I understand," she said softly. "I'm willing to do whatever it takes to rebuild their trust. I just want to be there for them." I nodded slowly. "We can take it one step at a time. But you have to be consistent and show them that you're committed. They've been through a lot, and they need to see that you're not going to let them down." Lauren agreed, and we began the slow process of reintegrating her into the children's lives. It wasn't easy, and there were many difficult conversations and moments of tension. But I knew it was important for the kids to have both parents involved, even if our relationship was irreparably damaged. In the meantime, I continued to focus on rebuilding our social life. I joined a local support group for single parents, finding solace and camaraderie with others who had faced similar challenges. Through the group, I made new friends and expanded our social circle, creating a supportive network for the children and myself. As the months passed, the gossip began to die down, replaced by new stories and scandals. Our lives slowly returned to a semblance of normalcy. The children flourished in their new activities, and I found joy in watching them grow and thrive. One evening, as we sat around the dinner table, Ethan looked up at me and said, "Dad, do you think things will ever be like they used to be?" I smiled, reaching out to tousle his hair. "Things will never be the same, Ethan, but that doesn't mean they can't be good. We're building a new life together, and we have each other. That's what matters most." Lily nodded in agreement, her eyes shining with determination. "We're a team, right, Dad?" "Absolutely," I replied, feeling a surge of pride and love for my children. "We're a team, and we'll face whatever comes our way together." As we continued our journey, I realized that the social fallout, while challenging, had also brought us closer. It forced us to confront difficult truths and ultimately strengthened our bond. We had weathered the storm and emerged stronger, ready to face whatever the future held. With the social fallout settling and the children slowly adjusting to their new reality, it was time to focus on building a new future for our family. I knew that staying in the same town, surrounded by constant reminders of the past, would hinder our progress. It was time for a fresh start. I began looking for opportunities in other cities, places where we could rebuild our lives without the lingering shadows of betrayal. After careful consideration, I found a promising job opportunity in a neighboring state. It was a significant change, but I felt it was the right move for us. The kids were initially apprehensive about the idea of moving. They had already been through so much, and the thought of leaving their school and friends behind was daunting. I understood their concerns, but I also knew that this change was necessary for our healing. One evening, I sat them down for a family meeting. "I know moving to a new place sounds scary," I began, looking into their worried eyes. "But sometimes a fresh start is exactly what we need. We'll make new friends, explore new places, and create new memories together." Ethan frowned, his brow furrowed in thought. "But what about our friends here, and our school?" "We can still keep in touch with our friends," I assured him, "and you'll make new friends at your new school. It's a chance for a new adventure." Lily looked up, her eyes brightening slightly. "Will we have a new house too?" "Yes, we will," I replied, smiling. "A new house, new neighborhood, and new experiences. It's a fresh start for all of us." Over the next few weeks, we prepared for the move. I found a lovely house in a quiet neighborhood with excellent schools and plenty of activities for the kids. The excitement of setting up a new home helped ease their anxieties, and they started to look forward to the adventure ahead. On a moving day, as we packed the last of our belongings into the moving truck, I felt a mix of emotions. Leaving behind the place where we had built so many memories was bittersweet, but the promise of a new beginning filled me with hope. The drive to our new home was long, but the kids kept themselves entertained with games and stories. As we crossed the state line, I glanced in the rearview mirror and saw them laughing together. It was a small but reassuring sign that we were heading in the right direction. When we arrived at our new house, we were greeted by a friendly neighborhood. Our neighbors came over to introduce themselves and offer help with the move. Their warm welcome made us feel instantly at home. Over the next few days, we unpacked and settled in. The kids explored their new surroundings, and I could see their excitement growing with each discovery. We decorated the house together, making it our own and creating a sense of belonging. One Saturday, we decided to explore the town. We visited the local park, where Ethan and Lily quickly made friends with other kids their age. Watching them play and laugh, I felt a deep sense of gratitude. This move was exactly what we needed. As we settled into our new routines, I focused on my new job, which proved to be a rewarding and fulfilling opportunity. The work was challenging, but it also provided me with a sense of purpose and stability. I felt like I was finally regaining control of my life. The children adapted well to their new school. They made friends and excelled in their classes, and I was proud of how resilient they had become. We joined community activities from soccer leagues to art classes, immersing ourselves in our new environment. One evening after dinner, we sat on the porch, watching the sunset. Ethan turned to me and said, "Dad, I think I like it here. It's different, but in a good way." "I'm glad to hear that, buddy," I replied, feeling a sense of relief. Change can be hard, but it can also bring wonderful new experiences. Lily leaned against me, her head resting on my shoulder. "I miss our old home sometimes, but I like our new one too." "I miss it too," I admitted. "But what matters is that we're together. Home is where we are." As the days turned into weeks, our new life began to take shape. We found a rhythm, a sense of normalcy that had been missing for so long. The wounds of the past were still there, but they were healing, and we were moving forward. One afternoon, I received a call from Lauren. She sounded calmer, more composed than she had in a long time. "John, I just wanted to check in and see how the kids are doing." "They're doing well," I replied, choosing my words carefully. "They're adjusting to the new place and seem happy." "I'm glad to hear that," she said softly. "I've been thinking a lot about everything, and I just want you to know that I'm trying to make amends, even if it's just a small step at a time." "Thank you, Lauren," I said, appreciating her effort. "We all have to find our way forward. The kids and I are building a new life, and I hope you can find peace as well." As I hung up the phone, I felt a sense of closure. The past would always be a part of us, but it didn't have to define our future. We were creating a new story, one filled with hope and possibility. That night, as I tucked the kids into bed, I felt a profound sense of contentment. We had come through the storm, and while there were still challenges ahead, I knew we were on the right path. Our new beginning was just that, a beginning. And together, we would make it a beautiful one. Settling into our new life brought a sense of peace that had been missing for so long. The kids and I were finally beginning to find our footing, and the wounds of the past were slowly healing. But I knew that for us to truly move forward, we needed to strengthen our bonds as a family. I decided to prioritize activities that would bring us closer together. One of the first things we did was plan a weekend camping trip. It was something we had never done before, and I hoped it would create lasting memories and help us bond. The kids were excited as we packed the car with camping gear, snacks, and supplies. We drove to a nearby national park, the car filled with laughter and anticipation. As we set up our tent and explored the campsite, I could see the joy and excitement in their eyes. This was exactly what we needed. That evening, we gathered around the campfire, roasting marshmallows and telling stories. Ethan and Lily took turns sharing their favorite memories, and I was struck by how resilient and adaptable they had become. Despite everything, they had found ways to stay positive and hopeful. As the fire crackled and the stars began to appear in the night sky, Ethan looked up at me and said, "Dad, this is the best trip ever. I love spending time with you and Lily like this." "I love it too, buddy," I replied, feeling a surge of gratitude. We're making new memories together, and that's what's important. The camping trip was a success, and it marked the beginning of a new chapter for us. We started to make a habit of spending quality time together, whether it was through family game nights, weekend hikes, or simply cooking dinner as a team. Each activity brought us closer and reinforced the bond we shared. I also encouraged the kids to pursue their interests and hobbies. Ethan joined a local soccer team while Lily signed up for art classes. Watching them thrive in their activities brought me immense joy, and I made sure to be there for every game and art show, cheering them on and celebrating their achievements. One weekend, we decided to tackle a home improvement project together. The house we had moved into was charming, but it needed a bit of personalization to truly feel like ours. We chose to redecorate the living room, and the kids were eager to help. We spent the day painting walls, assembling furniture, and adding our personal touches to the space. It was hard work, but the sense of accomplishment and pride we felt when it was finished was worth every effort. The living room became a symbol of our new beginning, a place where we could relax and enjoy each other's company. During this time, I also made a conscious effort to strengthen my relationship with the kids individually. I took Ethan fishing on a quiet lake one Saturday morning, where we talked about his dreams and aspirations. He opened up to me about his fears and hopes for the future, and I reassured him that no matter what, I would always be there for him. With Lily, I spent an afternoon at a local art museum, admiring the exhibits and discussing her passion for painting. She shared her creative ideas with me, and I encouraged her to pursue her artistic talents. It was a special bonding moment, one that deepened our connection and understanding of each other. As the months passed, our new life began to feel more settled and secure. The kids flourished in their new school, making friends and excelling in their studies. I found fulfillment in my job and took pride in providing a stable and loving environment for my children. One evening, as we sat down for dinner, Ethan looked at me and said, "Dad, do you ever think about the past? About everything that happened?" I paused, considering his question. "I do, Ethan. The past is a part of our story, but it doesn't define us. We've been through a lot, but we've also come a long way. What matters most is how we move forward together." Lily nodded thoughtfully. "I like our new life. It feels like we're a real team now." "We are a team," I agreed, smiling at them, "and we'll always support each other, no matter what." Our journey was far from over, but the progress we had made was undeniable. We had faced challenges, weathered storms, and emerged stronger than ever. Strengthening our bonds as a family had been a crucial part of that journey, and it had brought us closer than I ever thought possible. As I tucked the kids into bed that night, I felt a deep sense of contentment. Our new beginning was not just about starting over. It was about building something stronger, something unbreakable. We had each other, and that was the greatest gift of all. The future held many possibilities, and I knew that as long as we faced it together, we could overcome any obstacle. Our bond as a family was our greatest strength, and it would guide us through whatever lay ahead. With our lives slowly stabilizing, the next challenge was to finalize the legal aspects of our new beginning. The divorce had been a painful and complex process, but there were still loose ends that needed to be tied up, particularly concerning the children's custody and my guardianship over them. I knew that formalizing these arrangements was crucial for our future stability, so I reached out to my lawyer Richard to discuss the next steps. We met in his office, a small, tidy space filled with stacks of legal documents and books. Richard greeted me with a firm handshake and a reassuring smile. "John, you've made remarkable progress," he began, glancing at the file in front of him. "Now, we need to ensure that everything is legally settled so that there are no future complications." We reviewed the custody agreement, ensuring that all provisions were in place to protect the children's best interests. Given the revelations about their paternity and the tumultuous divorce, I wanted to make sure that Lauren's involvement in their lives was structured and supervised to provide them with the stability they needed. "Do you anticipate any resistance from Lauren regarding the custody terms?" Richard asked, looking up from the documents. "She's been cooperative recently," I replied. "She understands that the children's welfare comes first, but I want to be prepared for any eventualities." Richard nodded. "We'll make sure the agreement is airtight. It's also important to establish legal guardianship, considering the circumstances. This will provide additional security for the children." The guardianship process was more complex than I had anticipated. It required detailed documentation and a court hearing to ensure that my rights and responsibilities as the children's guardian were formally recognized. Despite the challenges, I knew it was a necessary step to protect our future. Over the next few weeks, Richard and I worked diligently to prepare the necessary paperwork. We gathered all relevant documents, including the DNA test results, financial records, and testimonials from friends and family supporting my guardianship. It was a daunting task, but Richard's expertise and dedication made the process smoother. Finally, the day of the court hearing arrived. I dressed carefully in a suit, wanting to present myself as a capable and responsible parent. The kids were aware of the importance of the day, and I reassured them that everything would be fine. At the courthouse, we met with Richard and waited for our case to be called. The atmosphere was tense, but I remained focused on the goal. When it was our turn, we entered the courtroom, a large, imposing space that seemed to amplify every sound. The judge, a stern-looking woman with a kind smile, presided over the hearing. Richard presented our case meticulously, outlining the reasons why formalizing my guardianship was in the best interest of the children. He emphasized the stable and nurturing environment I had provided, the strong bond I shared with the kids, and Lauren's acknowledgement of the arrangement. Lauren was present in the courtroom, and when she was called to speak, she approached the stand with a mixture of apprehension and determination. "Your Honor," she began, her voice steady but emotional, "I fully support John's guardianship. He has been an incredible father to Ethan and Lily, and I believe this arrangement is what's best for them. I want to be part of their lives, but I understand that John provides the stability they need." Her testimony was a significant step forward. It showed her willingness to cooperate and prioritize the children's well-being. The judge listened carefully, asked a few questions, and then called for a short recess to review the documents. During the recess, Richard and I waited in a small conference room. My mind raced with thoughts and concerns, but Richard remained calm and optimistic. "We've presented a strong case," he reassured me. "I'm confident the judge will see that this is in the best interest of the children." When we returned to the courtroom, the judge delivered her decision. After reviewing the evidence and hearing from both parties, I find that granting John Thompson legal guardianship of Ethan and Lily is in their best interest. The court also recognizes the importance of maintaining a relationship with their mother, Lauren Thompson, under the terms outlined in the custody agreement. Relief washed over me as the judge's words sank in. The legal recognition of my guardianship was a crucial victory, ensuring that I could provide the stability and security the children needed. As we left the courthouse, I felt a weight lift off my shoulders. The legalities were finally settled, and we could move forward with confidence. I thanked Richard for his unwavering support and dedication. "I couldn't have done this without you," I said, shaking his hand. "It's been a pleasure to help you, John," he replied. "You've shown incredible strength and dedication to your children. They're lucky to have you." That evening, I shared the news with Ethan and Lily. We celebrated with their favorite dinner and a movie night. As we sat together on the couch, I looked at their smiling faces and felt a deep sense of gratitude. "Dad, does this mean everything is going to be okay now?" Ethan asked, his eyes filled with hope. "Yes, Ethan," I replied, hugging him tightly. "Everything is going to be okay. We're a family and nothing will ever change that." The legal battles had been exhausting, but they were a necessary part of securing our future. With the guardianship and custody arrangements finalized, we could focus on building our new life together. The road ahead was still filled with challenges, but we were stronger and more united than ever. As I tucked the kids into bed that night, I felt a renewed sense of purpose. We had overcome so much, and there was still a long journey ahead. But with the legalities behind us and our bonds strengthened, I knew we could face anything together. Our new beginning was truly taking shape, and I was determined to make the most of it. With the legal battles behind us and our new life beginning to take shape, my focus shifted to rebuilding trust. Trust had been shattered by Lauren's betrayal, and while we were making progress, the wounds were still there, raw and painful. For us to truly move forward, we needed to heal those wounds and rebuild the trust that had been lost. The process began with honest and open communication. I encouraged the kids to express their feelings and concerns, assuring them that it was okay to talk about their fears and doubts. We held regular family meetings where we discussed everything openly, from our daily routines to our hopes and dreams for the future. One evening, during one of these meetings, Ethan spoke up. "Dad, how do we know that things won't go wrong again? That we won't get hurt?" His question was direct and heartfelt, and it pained me to see the worry in his eyes. "Ethan, I can't promise that life will always be easy or that we won't face challenges. I replied gently. "But I can promise that I will always be here for you and Lily. We'll face everything together as a family. Trust is built one step at a time, and we're taking those steps together." Lily, who had been quiet, nodded slowly. "I miss how things used to be, but I like our new life too. It feels safer." "That's because we're creating a safe and loving environment for each other," I said, smiling at her. "It's okay to miss the past, but we're building something new and beautiful together." I also recognize the importance of setting a positive example. I made a conscious effort to be consistent, reliable, and transparent in everything I did. I wanted the kids to see that they could depend on me and that my words matched my actions. This meant keeping promises, being present, and showing them through my actions that they were my top priority. At the same time, I worked on rebuilding trust with Lauren. Although our relationship would never be the same, we needed to find a way to co-parent effectively. We started having regular conversations about the children, focusing on their needs and how we could support them together. It was awkward at first, but gradually we found a way to communicate without the bitterness and resentment that had once defined our interactions. One Saturday, I arranged for Lauren to spend the afternoon with the kids at a local park. It was important for them to maintain a relationship with her, and I wanted to support that bond. As they left for their outing, I couldn't help but feel a mix of emotions. Trusting Lauren with the children was difficult, but it was a necessary step towards healing. When they returned, the kids were full of stories about their day. They had played on the swings, had a picnic, and laughed together. Seeing their joy reassured me that we were on the right path. Another crucial step in rebuilding trust was creating new memories. We embarked on various adventures, from weekend getaways to day trips exploring nearby attractions. Each experience brought us closer and helped us create a reservoir of positive memories to draw upon during tough times. One memorable trip was to a nearby amusement park. Ethan and Lily were thrilled at the prospect of riding roller coasters and exploring the attractions. As we navigated the park, their laughter and excitement were contagious. We spent the day indulging in cotton candy, taking silly photos, and enjoying the rides. At the end of the day, as we watched the fireworks light up the night sky, Lily turned to me and said, "This is the best day ever, Dad. Thank you for making it so special." "You're welcome, sweetheart," I replied, feeling a lump in my throat. "I love making memories with you and Ethan. These moments are what matter most." As we continued to build our new life, I also sought out opportunities to support the kids' emotional well-being. I arranged for them to see a family therapist, someone who could help them navigate their feelings and provide a safe space for them to express themselves. The therapy sessions proved to be incredibly beneficial, helping them process their emotions and build resilience. Through these efforts, we began to see the fruits of our labor. The kids seemed more relaxed and confident, and our bond grew stronger with each passing day. The trust we were rebuilding wasn't just about relying on each other, it was about creating a foundation of love, respect, and mutual support. One evening, as we sat down for dinner, Ethan shared a story from school. He had been chosen to lead a project, and his teacher had praised his leadership skills. "I didn't think I could do it, but then I remembered what you always say, Dad. We can do anything if we stick together and believe in ourselves." His words touched me deeply. "That's right, Ethan. You can achieve anything you set your mind to, and we'll always support you." Lily chimed in, her eyes shining. "We're a team, and teams always have each other's backs." As I looked at my children, I realized that the trust we were building was not just about overcoming the past. It was about creating a future where we could face anything together. The journey had been long and difficult, but we were stronger for it. Our new beginning was more than just a fresh start. It was a testament to our resilience and determination. We had faced betrayal, heartbreak, and uncertainty, but we had emerged stronger, more united, and ready to embrace whatever the future held. That night, as I tucked the kids into bed, I felt a profound sense of peace. We were rebuilding trust step by step and creating a life filled with love, hope, and endless possibilities. Together, we were unstoppable, and I knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, we would face them as a family. With our new life settling into a rhythm, Lauren's presence became a recurring but necessary part of our journey. Her relationship with the kids was crucial, and I wanted to support their bond while maintaining the stability we had worked so hard to create. Yet I couldn't ignore the struggles Lauren was facing. Her actions had left her isolated and grappling with guilt, and she needed to find her path to redemption. Lauren had moved to a modest apartment nearby, and while she was trying to rebuild her life, the consequences of her past actions still haunted her. She found it difficult to secure a stable job. Her social circle had dwindled, and the weight of her mistakes bore heavily on her shoulders. Despite these challenges, she was determined to be there for the kids and to make amends. One evening, Lauren called me, her voice heavy with emotion. "John, I've been thinking a lot about everything. I know I've made terrible mistakes, and I'm trying to make things right, but it's so hard. I don't know where to start." I listened, feeling a mix of sympathy and resolve. "Lauren, the first step is to forgive yourself. It's not going to be easy, but you need to start by accepting what's happened and then work on moving forward. The kids need you to be strong for them." "I want to be there for them," she said quietly. "I just don't know if I can ever make up for what I've done." "You can't change the past," I replied gently, "but you can be a better person now. Show them that you're committed to being in their lives. It's going to take time, but they need to see that you're trying." Lauren began to take small steps towards rebuilding her life. She started attending a local support group for parents, seeking advice and sharing her struggles. The group provided her with a sense of community and understanding that she desperately needed. She also enrolled in a part-time course to improve her skills and increase her chances of finding stable employment. As part of her redemption, Lauren made a conscious effort to be present in the kids' lives. She attended their school events, helped with homework, and took them on outings. Each small act of involvement was a step towards rebuilding their trust. It wasn't easy, and there were moments of tension and doubt, but she persisted. One weekend, I invited Lauren to join us for a day at the local zoo. The kids were thrilled at the prospect of spending the day with both of us, and I hoped it would be a positive experience for everyone. We spent the day exploring the exhibits, laughing at the antics of the animals, and enjoying each other's company. It was a reminder that despite everything, we could still share moments of joy as a family. As we sat down for a picnic lunch, Ethan turned to Lauren and asked, "Mom, do you think things will ever go back to how they were before?" Lauren looked at him, her eyes filled with a mix of sadness and hope. "I don't think things will ever be the same, Ethan, but that doesn't mean they can't be good. We're making new memories and learning to trust each other again. It's a different kind of good." Lily nodded, her eyes wide with understanding. "I like our new memories. It feels like we're starting fresh." I watched the exchange with a sense of pride. The kids were resilient and adaptable, and their ability to embrace the present and look forward to the future was inspiring. Lauren's efforts were not without setbacks. There were times when her past mistakes cast a long shadow, and the road to redemption seemed impossibly steep. But she continued to push forward, motivated by her love for the children and her desire to make things right. Over time, her relationship with the kids began to heal. They started to trust her more, to see her as a reliable presence in their lives. It was a slow process, but each small victory was a testament to her commitment and perseverance. One evening, as we were having dinner together, Ethan shared a story from his day at school. "Mom, we had a project today where we talked about people we admire. I talked about you and Dad." Lauren's eyes filled with tears. "You did? Why?" "Because you're trying so hard to be a good mom," he said simply. "And that means a lot to me." Lily nodded in agreement. "We know you're trying, Mom, and that's what matters." In that moment, I realized that Lauren's redemption was not just about making up for her mistakes. It was about showing the kids that it's possible to change, to grow, and to become a better person. Her journey was far from over, but she was on the right path. As we continued to navigate our new lives, I felt a renewed sense of hope. We had faced incredible challenges, but we had also found strength and resilience within ourselves and each other. Lauren's struggles and redemption were an integral part of our story, and they taught us valuable lessons about forgiveness, perseverance, and the power of love. That night, as I tucked the kids into bed, I felt a deep sense of peace. Our family was not perfect, but we were learning, growing, and healing together. The future was still uncertain, but I knew that as long as we faced it with open hearts and unwavering support for each other, we could overcome anything. As we continued to rebuild our lives, we began to celebrate the milestones that marked our progress. Each achievement, big or small, was a testament to our resilience and determination to move forward. These moments became a source of joy and inspiration, reinforcing our bond and reminding us of how far we had come. The first significant milestone was Ethan's soccer tournament. He had been practicing diligently with his team, and the tournament was the culmination of months of hard work. On the day of the event, the atmosphere was electric with excitement. The kids donned their team jerseys, and parents filled the sidelines, cheering and waving banners. Ethan's team played with heart and determination, and their efforts paid off. They won the championship, and Ethan was awarded the trophy for Most Valuable Player. His face lit up with pride as he held the trophy high, and the team celebrated with cheers and laughter. After the game, we gathered for a celebratory picnic. Lauren joined us, and together, we congratulated Ethan on his achievement. "I'm so proud of you, buddy," I said, ruffling his hair. "You worked hard, and it paid off." "Thanks, Dad," he replied, beaming. "It feels amazing to win, but it's even better to see everyone so happy." Lily chimed in, her eyes sparkling. "You were awesome, Ethan. I knew you could do it." The day was filled with joy and a sense of accomplishment. It was a reminder that despite the challenges we had faced, we could still achieve great things and create happy memories. The next milestone was Lily's art exhibition. She had been pouring her heart into her artwork, and her pieces were selected for a local youth art show. The exhibition was held at a community center, and the walls were adorned with vibrant and creative works from young artists. As we walked through the exhibition, admiring the various pieces, I felt a swell of pride. Lily's artwork was exceptional, a reflection of her talent and passion. When we reached her section, she stood next to her paintings, a shy but proud smile on her face. "Your work is amazing, Lily," I said, hugging her. "I'm so proud of you." Lauren, who was also there, added, "You have a real gift, sweetheart. Keep following your dreams." Lily blushed with pride. "Thank you. It means a lot to me that you're both here." The exhibition was a success, and Lily received praise and encouragement from everyone who viewed her work. It was a significant moment for her, and it reinforced her confidence and dedication to her art. To celebrate, we went out for ice cream, and the kids shared their excitement and dreams for the future. It was a perfect ending to a day filled with creativity and accomplishment. Another milestone that brought us together was our first holiday season in the new house. We decided to make it extra special by starting new traditions and creating lasting memories. We decorated the house together, stringing lights, hanging ornaments, and baking cookies. The air was filled with laughter and the sweet scent of holiday treats. On Christmas morning, the kids woke up early, their eyes wide with excitement. We gathered around the tree, exchanging gifts and enjoying the joy of the season. One of the most memorable moments was when Ethan and Lily gave me a handmade photo album filled with pictures and notes from our adventures over the past year. "We wanted to make something special for you, Dad," Ethan explained, "to show you how much we appreciate everything you've done," Lily added, "and to remind us of all the good times we've had." I was deeply touched by their thoughtfulness. "This is the best gift I could ever ask for. Thank you, both of you. I love you so much." The holiday season was filled with warmth and love, and it marked the beginning of new traditions that we would cherish for years to come. As we continued to celebrate these milestones, I noticed a shift in our family dynamic. The kids were more confident, happier, and more secure. The scars of the past were healing, replaced by a sense of hope and optimism for the future. Lauren's presence, too, had become a positive influence. She continued to be involved in the kids' lives, supporting their endeavors and showing her commitment to being a better parent. Her efforts were paying off, and the kids were beginning to trust her more. One evening, as we sat around the dinner table, Ethan spoke up. "You know, I think we've become a really strong family. We've been through a lot, but we're still here, supporting each other." Lily nodded in agreement. "And we're making so many good memories. It feels like we're finally happy again." I smiled, feeling a deep sense of fulfillment. We are a strong family, and we've come a long way. I'm so proud of each of you for your strength and resilience. We're creating a beautiful life together. As we continued to celebrate our milestones and build our new life, I knew that the future held endless possibilities. We had faced our challenges head-on and emerged stronger, united by our love and determination. Together, we could achieve anything, and I was excited to see what the next chapter of our journey would bring. With each milestone we celebrated, our confidence grew, and we began to embrace new opportunities that came our way. The process of healing and rebuilding had made us stronger, and we were ready to take on new challenges and adventures. One of the first opportunities that came our way was a chance for me to advance in my career. My dedication and hard work at my new job had not gone unnoticed, and I was offered a promotion that would come with more responsibilities and a higher salary. While it was a significant step forward, it also meant longer hours and more time away from home. I discussed the offer with Ethan and Lily, wanting to ensure that they were comfortable with the changes it would bring. "I've been offered a promotion at work," I explained. "It's a great opportunity, but it means I'll have to work longer hours. I want to make sure you both are okay with this before I accept." Ethan thought for a moment. "Will it mean we get to do more fun things together, like more trips and activities?" "Yes, it will," I replied. "It also means I can provide more for us and ensure we have a secure future." Lily nodded. "I think you should take it, Dad. We'll support you, and we know you'll still make time for us." Their support and understanding made my decision easier. I accepted the promotion, and we adjusted our routines to accommodate my new responsibilities. I made a conscious effort to balance work and family time, ensuring that we continued to create special moments together. In addition to my career advancement, Ethan and Lily also began to explore new opportunities. Ethan expressed an interest in learning to play the guitar, and we found a local music teacher who offered lessons. He was passionate and dedicated, practicing every day and quickly showing progress. Watching him develop a new skill brought me immense pride. One evening, he performed a song for us, his fingers expertly strumming the chords. "That was amazing, Ethan," I exclaimed. "You've got real talent." "Thanks, Dad," he said, beaming. "I love playing, and I want to get even better." Lily, inspired by her brother's dedication, decided to join a dance class. She had always loved dancing around the house, and formal lessons gave her a chance to hone her skills. She was a natural, and her grace and enthusiasm shone through in every performance. At her first recital, I watched with a mixture of pride and emotion as she danced across the stage. Her movements were fluid and confident, and she radiated joy. After the performance, I hugged her tightly. "You were incredible, Lily. I'm so proud of you." "Thank you, Dad," she replied, her eyes sparkling. "Dancing makes me so happy." Lauren continued to be a supportive presence in the children's lives, attending their events and cheering them on. Her relationship with them grew stronger, and they began to see her as a reliable and caring parent. Her redemption was a continuous journey, but her commitment was unwavering. One weekend, we decided to take a spontaneous trip to the mountains. It was a chance to disconnect from our busy lives and enjoy nature together. We hiked through scenic trails, breathing in the fresh air and marveling at the beauty around us. The kids loved exploring the outdoors, and the trip was a refreshing escape from our routines. At the top of a particularly challenging hike, we sat down to rest and take in the breathtaking view. "This is amazing," Ethan said, looking out at the expanse of trees and mountains. "I feel like we're on top of the world." "We are," I replied, smiling. "And it's because we've worked hard and supported each other. We can achieve anything together." Lily leaned against me, her face filled with contentment. "I love our adventures, Dad. They make me feel so alive." Our trip to the mountains was a reminder of the importance of seizing opportunities and making the most of every moment. It reinforced our bond and filled us with a sense of accomplishment and wonder. Back at home, we continued to embrace new opportunities in our community. We volunteered at local events, participated in charity runs, and got involved in neighborhood activities. These experiences enriched our lives and allowed us to give back to the community that had welcomed us with open arms. One evening, as we were having dinner, Ethan shared his excitement about an upcoming school project. "We're doing a science fair, and I want to build a model of the solar system. Can you help me, Dad?" "Of course," I replied enthusiastically. "We'll make it the best project ever." Lily chimed in, "And I can help too. I love painting the planets." The following weeks were filled with creative brainstorming and hands-on work as we built the model together. It was a fun and educational experience that brought us even closer. The night before the science fair, we put the finishing touches on the project, and Ethan was beaming with pride. At the science fair, Ethan's project was a hit. He explained his model with confidence and enthusiasm. impressing his teachers and classmates. "Great job, Ethan," I said, giving him a high five. "You've worked hard, and it shows." "Thanks, Dad. I couldn't have done it without you and Lily." The sense of achievement and the shared experiences of these new opportunities strengthened our family bond. We had faced our challenges and emerged stronger, ready to take on whatever the future held. As I tucked the kids into bed that night, I reflected on how far we had come. Our journey had been filled with ups and downs, but we had embraced each moment with courage and love. We were building a life filled with new opportunities, adventures, and endless possibilities. The future was bright, and I was excited to see where it would lead us. Together, we could achieve anything, and I knew that our bond would continue to grow stronger with each passing day. As we embraced new opportunities and continued to build our lives, we were inevitably faced with new challenges. Each challenge tested our resilience and unity, but it also offered valuable lessons and growth. We had learned from our past, and we were ready to face whatever came our way. One of the first challenges came in the form of a health scare. During a routine checkup, the doctor discovered that Ethan had a heart murmur. Though the doctor assured us it was likely benign, the news shook me to my core. The thought of anything happening to my son filled me with fear. We scheduled further tests with a cardiologist, and the days leading up to the appointment were filled with anxiety. I did my best to remain calm and positive for Ethan and Lily's sake, but inside, I was a wreck. I spent countless nights lying awake, worrying about what the tests might reveal. The day of the appointment arrived, and we sat in the waiting room, holding hands and trying to stay positive. Ethan was brave, but I could see the worry in his eyes. When we finally met with the cardiologist, he conducted a thorough examination and ran several tests. The waiting felt like an eternity. After what seemed like hours, the cardiologist returned with a reassuring smile. "Ethan's heart murmur is benign. It's something we'll keep an eye on, but there's no immediate cause for concern. He can continue with his activities as usual." Relief washed over me, and I hugged Ethan tightly. "You're going to be just fine, buddy. We'll take good care of you." Ethan smiled, his eyes bright with relief. "Thanks, Dad. I was scared, but I knew you'd be here with me." The health scare was a reminder of how precious life is and the importance of cherishing every moment. It brought us closer as a family and reinforced our commitment to supporting each other through any challenge. Another challenge arose when Lily began to struggle with bullying at school. A group of girls had started teasing her about her dancing and artwork, and it was taking a toll on her self-esteem. She became quieter and withdrawn, and it broke my heart to see her so unhappy. One evening, as I was tucking her into bed, she finally opened up to me. "Dad, why do people have to be so mean? I just want to do what I love, but they make me feel so bad about it." I hugged her tightly, my heart aching for her. "Lily, you are incredibly talented and kind. Don't let anyone make you feel otherwise. Bullies often act out of their insecurities. We'll work through this together, and I promise you, things will get better." The next day, I met with Lily's teachers and the school counselor to address the bullying. They were supportive and took immediate action to ensure Lily felt safe and supported at school. We also enrolled Lily in a self-defense class to help boost her confidence and give her the tools to stand up for herself. With time and support, Lily began to regain her confidence. She continued to dance and create art, and I made sure to remind her every day of how proud I was of her. The bullying eventually subsided, and Lily emerged stronger and more resilient. Meanwhile, Lauren faced challenges of her own. Despite her efforts to rebuild her life, finding stable employment remained difficult. She was often discouraged, but she persevered, taking temporary jobs and continuing her education. One evening, she called to share some good news. "John, I've been offered a full-time position at a local nonprofit. It's not exactly what I used to do, but it's meaningful work and I'm excited about it." "That's fantastic, Lauren," I replied genuinely. "I'm proud of you. The kids will be thrilled to hear the news." Lauren's new job brought her a sense of purpose and stability. It also allowed her to contribute more consistently to the kids' lives, both financially and emotionally. Her journey of redemption was ongoing, but this job was a significant step forward. As we faced these new challenges, we learned to lean on each other for support. Our bond grew stronger, and we developed a deeper understanding of each other's strengths and vulnerabilities. We celebrated our victories, no matter how small, and remained united in the face of adversity. One evening, as we sat around the dinner table, Ethan shared a story from school. We had a project today where we had to talk about a challenge we've overcome. I talked about my heart murmur and how we faced it together as a family. Lily nodded. And I talked about the bullying and how you helped me stand up for myself, Dad. I smiled, my heart swelling with pride. You both are incredible. We've faced a lot, but we've done it together, and that's what matters. The challenges we faced were difficult, but they also brought us closer and taught us valuable lessons about resilience, love, and perseverance. We had learned to navigate life's obstacles with grace and strength, and we were better for it. As I tucked the kids into bed that night, I felt a profound sense of gratitude. We had overcome so much, and our bond had only grown stronger. The future still held uncertainties, but I knew that together, we could face anything. Our journey was far from over, but with each challenge we faced, we became more resilient and more united. We had built a life filled with love, support, and endless possibilities, and I was confident that whatever the future held, we would face it together as a family. With our lives steadily improving and challenges being met with resilience and unity, I began to consider a possibility I hadn't entertained in a long time: finding love again. The journey of healing and rebuilding had been long and arduous, but I had emerged stronger, more self-aware, and ready to embrace new experiences. It was time to open my heart to the idea of a new relationship. The thought of dating again was both exciting and daunting. I knew it was important to be cautious, especially considering the impact it would have on Ethan and Lily. They had been through so much, and I didn't want to introduce more instability into their lives. However, I also knew that finding happiness for myself would set a positive example for them. One evening, while having dinner with a group of friends, I met someone who sparked my interest. Her name was Claire, and she was a kind, intelligent woman with a warm smile and an easy laugh. We hit it off immediately, sharing stories and laughing together. As the evening went on, I found myself genuinely enjoying her company and feeling a connection I hadn't felt in years. A few days later, I decided to reach out and ask Claire to join me for coffee. She agreed, and we spent a delightful afternoon talking about our lives, our children — she had a daughter named Emily — and our shared interests. The conversation flowed naturally, and I felt a sense of ease and comfort with her. As we continued to see each other, I was careful to take things slow. I wanted to ensure that Claire and I were a good match before introducing her to Ethan and Lily. Our relationship grew organically, built on trust, respect, and mutual admiration. Claire was understanding of my past and supportive of my role as a father, which meant a lot to me. After a few months, I felt it was time for Claire to meet the kids. I talked to Ethan and Lily about her, explaining that I had met someone special and wanted them to get to know her. They were initially hesitant, but I reassured them that their feelings and comfort were my top priority. We arranged a casual outing at a local park, a place where the kids felt at ease. Claire brought her daughter Emily, and we spent the day playing games, having a picnic, and enjoying the beautiful weather. The kids were shy at first, but Claire's warm and approachable nature quickly won them over. Emily and Lily bonded over their shared love of dancing, and Ethan found a kindred spirit in Claire's love for music. As the day went on, I saw the kids opening up and genuinely enjoying themselves. It was a relief to see them happy and comfortable. That evening, as we drove home, Ethan spoke up. "Dad, I like Claire, she's nice, and Emily's fun to hang out with." Lily nodded in agreement. "Yeah, they're cool. It was a fun day." I smiled, feeling a sense of hope and gratitude. "I'm glad you think so. Claire is important to me, but you two are my top priority. I want to make sure we're all comfortable and happy." As my relationship with Claire continued to grow, so did her bond with Ethan and Lily. We started to spend more time together as a blended family, going on outings, having movie nights, and celebrating special occasions. Claire's kindness and understanding, combined with Emily's sweet nature, made the transition smoother than I had anticipated. One evening, after a particularly fun family game night, I sat down with the kids for a heart-to-heart talk. "How are you both feeling about everything? About Claire and Emily?" Ethan looked thoughtful. "I think it's good, Dad. I like having them around. Claire makes you happy, and that makes us happy too." Lily nodded. "Yeah, and Emily is like a new friend. It feels nice." I hugged them both, feeling overwhelmed with love and gratitude. "I'm so proud of you both. You've been through so much, and seeing you happy means the world to me. Claire and Emily are important to me, and I'm glad you're welcoming them into our lives." As the months passed, our blended family continued to grow closer. We faced the usual ups and downs, but the foundation of love, respect, and understanding made it easier to navigate any challenges that arose. Claire and I supported each other, not just as partners, but as co-parents, working together to create a harmonious and loving environment for our children. One evening, as we sat around the dinner table, Claire turned to me with a smile. "I've been thinking, maybe we could plan a family vacation, something to bring us all even closer together." The kids' eyes lit up with excitement at the idea. "Yes, that would be awesome," Ethan exclaimed. Lily clapped her hands. "A vacation sounds amazing." We began planning a trip to the beach, a place where we could relax, have fun, and create new memories. The anticipation and excitement of the upcoming trip brought us even closer, reinforcing the bond we were building as a blended family. The vacation was everything we had hoped for and more. We spent our days swimming, building sandcastles, and exploring the local attractions. In the evenings, we gathered around a bonfire, sharing stories, roasting marshmallows, and enjoying the sound of the waves crashing on the shore. One night, as we watched the sunset together, Claire took my hand. "John, I'm so grateful to have you and the kids in my life. This feels like home." I looked at her, feeling a deep sense of contentment. "I feel the same way, Claire. We've built something beautiful together, and I'm excited for our future." Ethan and Lily, sitting next to Emily, chimed in. "This has been the best vacation ever. We're so happy." As I looked at our blended family, I realized that we had found something truly special. We had faced our challenges, embraced new opportunities, and created a life filled with love and happiness. Finding love again was not just about me. It was about building a new, stronger family unit that could face anything together. The journey was far from over, but I was confident that, with Claire and our children by my side, we could overcome any obstacle and create a future filled with endless possibilities. Together, we had found love, resilience, and a renewed sense of hope. The vacation had been a resounding success, and it brought us even closer as a blended family. However, I knew that maintaining this harmony required continuous effort and understanding. We were building a new life together, and it was essential to ensure that each member of our blended family felt valued and supported. One of the first steps we took was to establish family meetings where everyone had a voice. These meetings became a weekly tradition, a time for us to discuss our plans, address any concerns, and share our thoughts. It was a simple yet effective way to foster open communication and ensure that everyone felt heard. During one of these meetings, Emily, Claire's daughter, hesitantly spoke up. "Sometimes I feel like I don't fit in," she admitted, looking down at her hands. "I love spending time with all of you, but it's different from what I'm used to." Claire reached out to comfort her, but I wanted to reassure her as well. "Emily, it's okay to feel that way. We're all adjusting, and it's normal to have those feelings. You're an important part of this family, and we're here to support each other." Ethan nodded in agreement. "Yeah, we're like a big team now. It's okay to feel different sometimes, but we're all in this together." Lily added, "And we're here for you, Emily. You can always talk to us." Emily's face brightened a bit, and I could see the relief in her eyes. The family meetings became a safe space for all of us, allowing us to address any issues and celebrate our successes together. We also made an effort to spend quality time with each child individually. Claire and I took turns planning special outings with each of the kids, giving them one-on-one attention and showing them that they were valued and loved. On Saturday, Claire took Lily to a local art museum. Lily's passion for art had continued to grow, and this outing was a chance for her to explore and learn more about her interests. They spent the day admiring the exhibits and discussing different styles and techniques. When they returned, Lily was glowing with excitement. "Mom, it was amazing. I learned so much, and I can't wait to try some new techniques in my paintings," she exclaimed. "That sounds wonderful, Lily," I said, smiling. "I'm glad you had such a great time." Meanwhile, I took Ethan and Emily to a music store where they could explore different instruments. Ethan had been progressing well with his guitar lessons, and Emily had expressed an interest in learning to play the piano. We spent the afternoon trying out various instruments, and by the end of the day, Emily had chosen a keyboard to start her piano journey. "Thank you, John," Emily said, hugging me. "I'm excited to learn." "I'm excited for you, Emily," I replied, feeling a sense of pride. "You're going to do great." These special outings helped strengthen our bonds and allowed each child to feel special and appreciated. It also allowed Claire and me to connect with them on a deeper level. As a blended family, we faced unique challenges, but we were committed to making it work. We continued to create new traditions and memories together. We planned family game nights, movie marathons, and weekend hikes. Each activity brought us closer and reinforced our unity. One memorable tradition we started was family story night. Every Friday evening, we would gather in the living room, and each person would take turns telling a story. It could be a personal experience, a favorite book, or even a made-up tale. The kids loved this tradition, and it became a highlight of our week. One evening, during family story night, Ethan shared a story about his heart murmur and how we had faced it together as a family. It was scary at first, but knowing we were all in it together made me feel strong. And now, I don't feel scared anymore. His words touched all of us, and it was a reminder of how far we had come. The challenges we had faced had brought us closer, and we had become stronger because of them. Claire and I also made it a priority to nurture our relationship. We set aside time for regular date nights, ensuring that we continued to connect and support each other as partners. Whether it was a quiet dinner at home or a night out, these moments were essential for maintaining our bond and keeping our relationship strong. One evening, as we were enjoying a quiet dinner at home, Claire looked at me with a smile. "I'm so grateful for everything we've built together, our family, our home. It's everything I've ever wanted." "I feel the same way, Claire," I replied, taking her hand. "We've faced a lot, but we've come through it stronger and more united. I couldn't have asked for a better partner." As we continued to navigate the complexities of our blended family, we learned to embrace each challenge as an opportunity for growth. We faced obstacles with patience and understanding, always prioritizing the well-being of our children and the strength of our family unit. The journey was not always easy, but it was incredibly rewarding. Each step we took brought us closer, and the love and support we shared made everything worthwhile. Together, we were building a life filled with joy, resilience, and endless possibilities. As I tucked the kids into bed that night, I felt a deep sense of contentment. We had created a beautiful blended family, and I knew that as long as we continued to support and love each other, we could overcome any challenge. The future was bright, and I was excited to see where our journey would take us next. Together, we were unstoppable, and I knew that no matter what lay ahead, we would face it as a united, loving family. As our blended family continued to grow and thrive, we reached a point where it felt natural to take the next step in our journey together. Claire and I had become partners not only in life, but in love, and we wanted to make our commitment official. The idea of getting married had been on our minds for a while, and it was time to discuss it with the kids. One evening after dinner, I gathered Ethan, Lily, and Emily in the living room. Claire sat beside me, her hand in mine. "We have something important to talk to you about," I began, looking at their curious faces. Claire continued, "John and I love each other very much, and we've been thinking about the future. We want to get married and make our family official." The kids exchanged excited glances. "Does that mean we'll all be together forever?" Ethan asked, his eyes lighting up. "Yes, it does," I replied, smiling. "We've already built a strong family, but getting married will be a way to celebrate our love and commitment to each other and all of you." Lily and Emily hugged each other, their excitement palpable. "I think it's a great idea," Lily exclaimed. "It will be like one big happy family." Emily nodded in agreement. "I'm happy for you both. It feels right." With the kids' enthusiastic support, we began planning our wedding. We wanted it to be a special and intimate celebration that reflected our journey and the love we had for each other. We decided on a small ceremony in a beautiful garden near our home, surrounded by close family and friends. As we prepared for the big day, the kids were actively involved in every aspect of the planning. Ethan and Emily worked together to create handmade invitations, while Lily helped Claire choose the perfect flowers for the bouquet. It was a collaborative effort that brought us even closer. The day of the wedding arrived, and the garden was transformed into a picturesque setting with twinkling lights and vibrant flowers. The air was filled with anticipation and joy. As I stood at the altar, waiting for Claire, I felt a profound sense of gratitude for the journey that had led us to this moment. When Claire appeared, escorted by Emily, she looked radiant in her simple yet elegant dress. Her smile was filled with love and happiness. Ethan and Lily walked beside me, beaming with pride and excitement. The ceremony was a beautiful reflection of our love and commitment. We exchanged heartfelt vows, promising to support and cherish each other and to continue building a loving and supportive family. The kids stood by our side, symbolizing the unity and strength of our blended family. After the ceremony, we celebrated with a joyous reception filled with laughter, music, and dancing. The kids took turns giving speeches, sharing their happiness and excitement for our future together. "I'm so happy for you, Dad," Ethan said, his voice filled with emotion. "You and Claire are perfect for each other, and I'm glad we're all a family now." Lily added, "I feel so lucky to have all of you in my life. This is the best day ever." Emily, too, expressed her joy. "I've always wanted a big family, and now I have one. Thank you for making us all feel so loved." Claire and I danced the night away, surrounded by our children and loved ones. It was a celebration of not only our love, but the journey we had undertaken together. The challenges we had faced had only made us stronger, and our commitment to each other and our family was unwavering. As the night came to an end, we gathered together for a final toast. "To love, to family, and new beginnings," I said, raising my glass. "May we continue to support and cherish each other through every step of our journey." "To new beginnings," everyone echoed, clinking their glasses and smiling. The next morning, we woke up to a new chapter in our lives. The house was filled with the remnants of the celebration, and the air was still buzzing with the joy of the previous day. We spent the day reminiscing about the wedding, looking through photos, and relishing the happiness we had created. As we settled into our new routine as a married couple, Claire and I continued to prioritize our family's well-being. We focused on creating a harmonious and loving environment where the kids could thrive. We supported their dreams, celebrated their achievements, and provided a safe space for them to express their feelings. One weekend, we decided to plant a garden in our backyard, a symbol of our growth and unity. Each of us chose a plant to represent ourselves, and together, we created a beautiful, vibrant garden. It became a place where we could gather, reflect, and enjoy each other's company. As we worked in the garden, I felt a deep sense of fulfillment. We had come so far, overcoming challenges and building a life filled with love and happiness. Our journey had been marked by resilience, growth, and unwavering support for one another. One evening, as we sat on the porch, watching the sunset, Claire turned to me with a smile. "We've created something truly special here, John. Our love, our family, it's everything I've ever dreamed of." "I feel the same way, Claire," I replied, taking her hand. "We've built a beautiful life together, and I'm excited for all the adventures that lie ahead." As I looked at our children playing in the yard, their laughter filling the air, I knew that our journey was far from over. We would continue to face challenges, embrace new opportunities, and celebrate every milestone together. Our love and commitment to each other and our family would guide us through whatever the future holds. Together, we had found a love that was resilient, enduring, and unbreakable. As we embarked on this new chapter, I knew that our bond would only grow stronger and that our family would continue to flourish. The future was bright, and I was excited to see where our journey would take us next.